Before World War I, Poland was under the partition of three nations: Russia, Prussia, and Austria. After two other partitions in 1795, Poland became officially non-existent for the next 123 years. Hence, when World War I came, Poland did not have a Polish army because there was no official Polish state. Consequently, the Polish were forced into the Russian, German, and Austrian armies to fight against one another. Poland was quickly invaded by Germany and Austria-Hungary when World War I began, and due to its position between the opposing countries, Polish land was accounted for many significant battles on the Eastern Front. The Germans retained absolute control over Poland for a while, longer until the collapse of the Russian Empire in 1917, and the defeat of Germany and Austria in 1918. Poland then gradually became independent, yet did not have official boundaries until years later. Following the end of the First World War, in 1919, the Treaty of Versailles gave Poland Western Prussia, hence giving them the access to the Baltic Sea. During the years of 1919 and 1920, Joseph Piłsudski's army defeated the Russians in the Polish-Soviet War. Poland then gained Western Ukraine and Belarus. In 1926, Poland was under the dictatorship of Piłsudski, though the economy stabilized and culture continued to prosper. However, on the 23rd of August 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union had signed a non-aggression pact. But what it really meant was for Stalin and Hitler to divide Poland once again. Now this had triggered the most significant event in history, World War II. The Second World War started with the Nazis' invasion of Poland. Then the country was divided between Germany and the Soviet Union. Both would treat the Poles with extreme brutality. The Nazis also began systematic persecution of the large Jewish population in Poland, building concentration camps such as Auschwitz, Treblinka, and Metternich, and separated the Jews in ghettos. Meanwhile, the Soviet secret police carried out systematic massacre of approximately 22,000 Polish army officers, professionals, and civil servants, mainly in the forest near Kiev in Russia's Smolensk region. In 1943, a war began uprising against the Nazis' attempts to move the remaining Jewish population to concentration camps. The resistance lasted for about 4 weeks before the ghetto was burned down completely. The whole thing ended with the capture of more than 50,000 Jews. By August of 1944, Polish resistance forces had taken control over Warsaw. Unfortunately, the Germans recaptured the city in October and burned it to the ground. By 1945, Soviet forces took over Warsaw while the German forces were driving from Poland. Eventually, Poland's borders were officially set by the post-war Potsdam Conference, with Poland losing territory to the Soviet Union but gaining some from Germany. By the time the war ended, over 6 million Poles were dead. After World War II ended, the Big Three, which were Russia, Britain, and the USA, disagreed over which Polish faction should be allowed to take control over the nation. Stalin was backing the Polish communists, while Churchill and Roosevelt were determined that the Polish people should have the right to choose their own government. The disagreement had led to the Conference of Yalta in 1945, with the leaders of the US, UK, and USSR, where they settled border disputes, created the United Nations, and organized post-war occupations of Germany and Japan. At the conference, Stalin had successfully obtained the right to take control over Poland, but in return, Stalin had to sign the Declaration of Liberated Europe, pledging to assist the peoples liberated from the dominion of Nazi Germany and the peoples of the former Axis satellite states of Europe to solve by democratic means the pressing political and economic problems. Therefore, Poland was considered the second world because it became a communist people's republic after Soviet-run elections under the Stalinist leadership of Bohuslav Rut. In 1946, the coup took place in which it was violent attacks by non-Jewish populations on Jews. During the incident, a mob of Polish soldiers, police officers, and civilians murdered at least 42 Jews and injured more than 40. As a result, 75,000 Jews fled Poland. This post-war incident is particularly disturbing because it happened 1 year after the Holocaust, which indicated that anti-Semitism continued to happen even after World War II. In 1956, a riot in Poznan over demands for greater freedom had resulted in over 50 deaths. In 1970, the food price riots in Gdansk occurred, ending with the suppression and killing of hundreds of people. During the years of 1956 and 1970, Poland experienced some internal independence under the Soviet rule, in which the survival of the church was the most significant figure as a counterpoint to Soviet repression. Poland was able to rebuild its war devastated iron, steel, shipping, and mining industries. In 1978, Karol Wojtyła was elected Pope. He took the name of John Paul II and was the first non-Italian Pope in nearly 500 years. By 1980, the government and the workers came to an agreement at the Lenin shipyard in Gdansk after several strikes and riots, in which the workers were allowed to organize into an independent trade union called the Solidarność or Solidarity. Lech Wałęsa was elected as head of the Solidarity, and 60% of the Polish workforce was organized by November of the same year. Solidarity was gradually growing into a strong, non-violent, and socio-political movement. However, it was suspended in 1981 under the martial law. Solidarity was not re-established until 1980 after roundtable talks between the Communists and the Catholic Church, and by 1990, Lech Wałęsa won president in the first fully free election ever held in Poland. After that, the Soviet troops were removed from Poland by the year 1992. By 1998, the European Union opened talks on Polish membership, and later, Poland officially joined the Union in 2004. In 1999, Poland joined NATO.